The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad 1958, is a classic fantasy adventure film directed by Nathan H. Duran and produced by Charles H. Schneer. It is particularly famous for its pioneering use of stop-motion animation created by the legendary special effects artist Ray Harryhausen. Plot summary. The film follows the daring adventures of the legendary sailor Sinbad as he embarks on a perilous journey to break a curse placed upon Princess Parisa. The curse, cast by the sorcerer Sokura, shrinks the princess to a tiny size. To reverse the spell, Sinbad must travel to the mysterious island of Colossa to obtain a magical ingredient, the shell of a giant rock's egg. On this journey, Sinbad encounters a series of mythical creatures. The film concludes with a climactic battle between Sinbad and Sokura, showcasing Harryhausen's innovative stop-motion techniques. Cast: Kerwin Matthews as Sinbad, Catherine Grant as Princess Parisa, Torrin Thatcher as Sokura the Magician, Richard Dyer as the Genie, Alec Mango as Caliph of Baghdad. Director Nathan H. Duran. Special effects Ray Harryhausen. Music Bernard Herrmann. Ray Harryhausen's stop-motion technique, called dynamation, allowed animated creatures to interact with live-action footage. This was achieved by splitting the film frame into layers and compositing the animation with the actors, creating seamless integration. Harryhausen's work on the Cyclops and the skeleton fight scene set new benchmarks for special effects. The famous sword fight between Sinbad and the skeleton was an incredibly labor-intensive process. Ray Harryhausen animated the skeleton frame by frame, ensuring its movements matched the choreography of Kerwin Matthews. This sequence took 11 months to complete and lasted only a few minutes on screen. The giant rock bird was inspired by myths from Arabian Nights tales. Harryhausen gave it a unique twist by adding a second head, making it even more menacing and otherworldly. Bernard Herrmann used exotic instruments like the xylophone, vibraphone, and marimba to create the fantastical soundscape of the film. The score is considered one of the film's highlights and is often studied in film music courses. Shooting in Spain provided a real-world exotic backdrop, enhancing the film's magical and adventurous feel. The Alhambra Palace in Granada was particularly striking and lent an authentic Eastern aesthetic to the scenes set in Baghdad. The Cyclops is one of the film's most iconic creatures. Harryhausen based its design partially on classical depictions of Polyphemus, the Cyclops from Greek mythology, and added goat-like legs to make it appear more monstrous and unique. The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad was the first Sinbad film shot in color. The vibrant Technicolor cinematography brought Harryhausen's creations and the exotic settings to life in ways black and white could not. Richard Dyer, the child actor who played Barani the Genie, performed his scenes in a miniature lamp set. The visual effects made it appear as though he truly inhabited the magic lamp. Sokura's props, including the shrinking potion and the crystal ball, were intricately designed to match the mystical and ancient aesthetic of the story. Harryhausen paid close attention to the details of these items to make them believable. While inspired by Arabian Nights, the film incorporated elements from Greek mythology like the Cyclops and skeleton and blended them into the story to appeal to a wider audience. The dragon not only served as Sokura's guardian but also battled the Cyclops in one of the film's most memorable scenes. This sequence highlighted Harryhausen's ability to choreograph fights between multiple animated creatures. Torrin Thatcher, who played Sokura, brought gravitas and a Shakespearean quality to the role, making him one of the most memorable villains in fantasy cinema. Estimated budget, $650,000. For its time, this was a relatively modest budget, especially considering the complexity of the stop-motion animation and the on-location filming in Spain. Ray Harryhausen's use of stop-motion animation was cost-effective compared to full-scale animatronics or elaborate creature suits. Worldwide gross, over $3 million. The film was a significant commercial success, earning more than 4 times its production budget. Positive reviews. Variety. A thrilling adventure filled with incredible visual wonders. Praised Ray Harryhausen's innovative stop-motion animation and Bernard Herrmann's score, noting they elevated the film beyond standard adventure fare. The New York Times. A colorful and action-packed fantasy that will captivate audiences of all ages. highlighted the film's vibrant Technicolor visuals and exotic locations as key strengths. Los Angeles Times. An instant classic of the fantasy genre, with inventive creatures and timeless storytelling. Applauded the Cyclops and the skeleton fight as standout sequences. Empire Magazine. The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad is a masterclass in imaginative filmmaking that still enchants viewers decades later. Gave high marks for the film's sense of wonder and its influence on modern fantasy cinema. Roger Ebert. A landmark in the fantasy-adventure genre, Ray Harryhausen's creatures are as magical today as they were in 1958. Negative reviews. The Village Voice criticized the plot, saying it was thin and overly reliant on spectacle rather than storytelling. Found the acting by Kerwin Matthews and Catherine Grant to be serviceable but uninspired. Film Quarterly. While visually impressive, the dialogue is stilted, and the characters lack depth. Some critics felt that the film was targeted more toward younger audiences, limiting its appeal to adults. Some modern critics argue that the pacing feels slow by today's standards, and the performances are occasionally overshadowed by the visual effects. The human characters seem like secondary players compared to Harryhausen's creatures, noted one review. While groundbreaking in 1958, some reviewers feel the stop-motion effects may look dated to modern audiences accustomed to CGI.